All right, let's get started. Let's start today on our backs. Bring the soles of the feet on the mat wide with the knees together. So finding this internal rotation of the thighs. And it's up to you where the feet are. You just want the knees to touch. So if you feel like you're having a hard time touching them, then just adjust the feet so that you can do that. And close the eyes for a moment. Bring the arms down by the sides with the palms facing up. Get yourself comfortable. Take an inhale in through the nose and feel the chest lift so much that you can lift the shoulder blades and just gently set them back down and exhale out of the mouth. Another one of those. Big breath in through the nose. Keep the shoulder blades on the mat. Lift and expand the chest. Exhale out of the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. Slow and controlled exhale back out through the nose. Focus on the breath. Keep going. Feel how the face starts to soften. You're not becoming so relaxed. You're just coming into your focus for your practice. Dropping in. And something that can be really powerful for us is to drop in faster and faster. Once you're there, staying in it and welcoming any distractions as a challenge to stay in it or coming right back to it. Bring the left hand to the heart, right hand to the belly. Keep breathing. And as you place the hands on the body, notice if that changes anything. The way you feel about your focus, your breath. And how loving this can be. And you'll blink open the eyes. Heel toe the feet back to hip width distance. Cross the right leg high up over the left leg. So like you're sitting in a chair. Then you can keep the legs just like this, especially if you're already feeling any kind of hip opening, or you can bring the knees in toward the chest and you can even grab onto that bottom knee to bring it in. Keep it relaxed. You should feel a nice opening in the outside of the hips. Head still on the ground. And set that left foot back down onto the mat, right foot down onto the mat, and you'll switch sides. Cross the left leg high up over the right. Bring the knees in. Bring the feet back down to the mat. Set them up so they're back to hip width distance. Bring the arms down by the sides and press down into the hands, the arms. Maybe you lift the chest to get the shoulder blades underneath you again. Press down into the feet and just come up like halfway into a bridge. And on the exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, lift up to a bridge. Could be in the same place you were before or maybe a little bit more. We'll work our way into a deeper bridge. Then exhale, bring the hips down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, lift up, maybe a little bit higher and you're closer to your full bridge. And exhale, release. This time, inhale, stay up, keep breathing. And then take robot arms. So bend the elbows, palms face one another. Press those outer upper arms into the mat a lot. You might even feel that lift and spread across the chest. Press down into the feet and the legs. Keep pointing the tailbone up toward the knees. And the hands are pretty activated. You're spreading the fingers evenly, or you can bring them all the way together. Either one works. Look up and keep the chin away from the chest. It's almost like you're trying to slide the heels back. You'll feel the hamstrings turn on, the glutes, calves, if they're not already. And slowly start to lower the hips back down to the mat. Bring the hands back down to the mat. Rest here. Let's do one more bridge. Press into the feet, lift the hips up. You can do robot arms like we did before. You can grab the outer edges of the mat like you're gonna rip it apart and feel like the shoulders get underneath you with the chest lifting and spreading. Or if you wanna interlace the fingers underneath you, that's an option too. But take it easy, we're just starting out. One more inhale. Exhale brings you back down to the mat. Release the hands down by the sides. Bring the arms out like a T. So you can cactus the arms or you can spread them all the way out. See which one feels comfortable or whatever you have the space for. Bring the knees and the feet all the way together. Hug the belly in and lift the feet. So keep the knees right over the hips. And you might already feel a tug in the lower back. If you are, hug the belly in a little bit more. Keep squeezing the legs together. You could even spread the toes if that helps you keep the activation in the legs. And then you'll bring the knees over to the right, maybe like a third of the way, not that far. Keep hugging the belly in. Come back to center. And let's go the other way, same distance, about a third of the way or less. Back to center. And we'll go real slow side to side. So you're listening to your core to see what's happening. Can you keep the inner thighs engaged? Can you keep the belly hugging in without using the lower back to make this movement happen? If you feel like your challenge is right where you're at, you stay here. If you feel like you need more of a challenge, you could go farther to the right and the left. One more time, each side. And then set the feet back down onto the mat. Bring the knees in toward the chest. You can rock side to side a little bit. And then grab onto the backs of the legs. Let's take some rocks. So go up and down the spine. Just keep going. You can build some momentum. Should feel pretty nice. And eventually, let's end up in boat pose. So you can practice it a couple of times, finding that stability on the sacrum and lifting the chest up, reaching the arms forward. It's like stopping yourself and finding that pause. And then we'll stick it whenever you can. If it doesn't work out, just rock back and come to it again if you can. Hug the belly in. Hands can go down to the ground if you want a little extra support. That's totally fine. Keep hugging the inner thighs in toward one another or reach the arms forward. Looking up helps you keep that nice long spine. Maybe even spread the toes here. Breathe. Set the feet down onto the mat. Let's make our way to tabletop. Coming to all fours. So from your tabletop, reach the right arm up toward the sky. And we're gonna do this a couple of times. You're gonna thread the right arm through underneath you, set the side of the head down onto the mat, and then come back up. You press into the left hand, reach the right arm up. 2 more times. Thread that arm through underneath you, bring it back up. This time we'll stay in that shoulder opening. Thread that right arm through underneath you. Keep the head resting on the mat. And I'll give you several options to choose which one feels best. You can keep that left hand in front of the face. You can also stretch that left arm forward. So pick one of those two first. If you're good here, stay here. Maybe you reach that left arm up, have the palm facing away from you. You could stay right here. This is an interesting place to be, to open up the shoulder. If you're really craving that half bind, turn the palm to face away from you and wrap the arm behind the back. But this is pretty good here and could be a place to stay curious. Left hand comes down in front of the face if it's not there already. Press into the left hand, reach the right arm all the way back up, open the chest. Right hand comes down, left arm reaches up, open the chest, thread that left arm through. Just a light tap. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, come back through, set the head down lightly, bring it back up. This time we stay, left arm underneath you, come down onto the side of the head, just nice and gently. Right hand stays where it is, or you can start to stretch the right arm forward over the top of the mat. Keep the hips even, keep hugging the belly in a little bit so the lower back doesn't dip. And hips are over the knees, so if you feel like the hips are going forward or back, see if you can stack them over the knees. Stay here, or maybe that right arm reaches up. If you did a different variation on the first side, match it here if it's available. Right hand back down onto the mat. Come back up, lift that left arm all the way up. Bring the left hand back down to the mat. Cat-cow. When you're ready, reach the heart forward. And on the exhale, press into the tops of the feet, hug the belly in, round the spine, keep going. If you want more and you want to circle or add more movement in any way, you're welcome to. Closing the eyes is always kind of a nice way to see what your body really wants to do. Next time you round the spine, stay there. Come back to tabletop. Bring the forearms down to the mat. Stack the shoulders right over the elbows and step the feet back, coming into forearm plank. So feet are hip width distance apart. You're pushing the mat away from you. You're stretching that heart forward, keeping the belly engaged, inner thighs engaged. Tailbone is long, lower back is long. And as you press down firmly into the forearms and the hands, you're pressing down firmly into the feet as well. Set the hips down onto the mat, come into Sphinx pose, tops of the feet to the mat, reach the chest forward, keep the back of the neck long. So instead of looking up, look forward and down. It's like you're looking down the bridge of the nose. Keep the lower back long, belly hugging in. Then start to come down onto your stomach. Bring the hands so that you're tenting the fingertips underneath the elbows. Elbows are wide. Press into the tops of the feet. Let's come up for a wide cobra. Listen to your body where it wants to go. Then exhale, release. A couple more times like that. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Stay here for an extra breath. So take the exhale, another inhale. Exhale brings you back down to the mat. Hands come down by the lower ribs, flat on the mat. Tuck the toes, fire up the legs, fire up the core, hug those outer elbows in, and push the mat away from you so the whole body stays in one line, back to plank pose. And then you'll take it back, downward facing dog. Widen the feet so you take a pretty wide stance in your downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Get the shoulder blades wide across the back as you press down firmly into all 10 fingers, especially the index and thumb. Bring the feet back to hip width distance. If this feels good, you can stay with a wider stance. That's totally fine. But hip width distance is what we're typically going for in downward facing dog. So you're aiming to make your way there at some point in your practice. Glide forward on the inhale to plank pose. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank pose. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Walk the hands back toward the feet at the back of the mat. Interlace the fingers, knuckles up toward the sky or back behind the head. Let the head and the neck go, coming into your forward fold. And if interlacing the fingers isn't available, clasp opposite elbows. Just see how open your shoulders are at this point. You can still have a bend in the legs. In fact, bend the legs enough so that you can connect the torso and the tops of the thighs together. Almost everybody will need to have some kind of bend in the legs for that to happen. And then once you have that, let the head and the neck go a little bit more. It's always helpful to nod the head yes and no a couple of times to find that release. Move the shoulders away from the ears so they're not sinking down toward the mat. And then maybe you press into the feet and you can start to play with straightening the legs, but see if you can keep that connection of the torso with the thighs. Switch the weaving of the fingers or clasp with the elbows. Hands come down to the mat. Inhale up halfway. Hands can come to the sides of the legs if you'd like. Exhale, fold. Let's do that 2 more times. Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time, inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together overhead and down in front of the heart. Stand here with the eyes closed, hands together in front of the heart. Root down through the legs. So you should feel like you have a nice wide base in the feet. The muscles in the legs are feeling engaged and supporting you. And then you can find that lift in the abdomen, the chest, shoulders down the back, neck nice and long as the nose points forward. Hands pressed into one another, elbows a little wide. Then blink, open the eyes, release the hands. Just walk forward to the top of the mat. Standing at the top of the mat, feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step the left foot back. Come into a runner's lunge. Hands can be on blocks or fingertips. Maybe you move around a little bit. Hands come down to the mat if they're not already. Right leg goes up and back for your 3-legged down dog. Keep the hip closed though, so that all 5 toes point down toward the mat. Set the right foot down onto the mat. Glide forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale up, cobra. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back. Knee to nose. Step the right foot forward. You're in a lunge. Reach the heart forward. Step the left foot forward. Forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up, bringing the palms together and then down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, step the right foot back. Find the lunge on the other side. Feel free to move around. Give yourself some height on the fingertips or blocks. Plant the palms, three-legged down dog. Left leg goes up and back, and you're pushing that foot away from you without opening up the left hip. Right heel's coming down toward the mat. Left foot comes down to the mat. You're in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, glide forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to the mat, cobra, maybe a little deeper if you'd like. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Left leg goes up and back. Knee to nose. Left foot up between the hands. Runner's lunge. Reaching the heart forward. Stretch that right leg back. Then step the right foot forward. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Bring the palms together overhead. Maybe a little bit of a back bend. The hips can come forward, fingertips can point back, and then exhale, bring the hands together down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, left foot goes back. Find that lunge. Three-legged down dog, right leg goes up and back. Right foot comes down to the mat, glide forward to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga. Your choice, up dog or cobra. Back to down dog. Right leg up and back. Knee to nose. Right foot forward, runner's lunge. Left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, rise all the way up. Bring the hands together, back down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, fold, right foot steps back. Runner's lunge. Hands down, three-legged down dog. Left leg up and back. Set that left foot down onto the mat. Glide forward to plank pose, Vinyasa. Back to downward facing dog. And instead of swinging that left leg up, lift it up with control. So maybe go as slow as you can so you can feel the muscles work to get the leg up. Knee to nose. Step that left foot forward, runner's lunge. Right foot forward, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Take chair pose, bend the knees, reach the arms up. Come all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up, and on the exhale, cactus the arms. Bring the elbows out wide, lift the heart, maybe a little bit of a back bend, but keep those legs nice and strong. And then start to look forward. Bring the forearms together, right arm on top of the left arm. So you're coming into eagle arms. And if it's too much, you can always just grab the tops of the shoulders and you don't have to hook the hands. So find a way to make this work in your body. And as you're bringing your attention to the upper body, make sure the lower body's still working. And now you'll lift the forearms up, coming back into that back bend. Then release the arms down by the sides. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back to your runner's lunge. This time you're coming up for crescent pose. Go slow again. Try not to use momentum. So in yoga, we're trying to build strength and flexibility. And a lot of times we can get into these poses, but are we using strength to get into them and holding them? And that's what keeps our practice safe, is using those muscles instead of just jamming our body into something, especially when we get all the momentum going. Right forearm on top of left forearm, back to eagle arms. So get those shoulders down and away from the ears. Keep them there as you lift the forearms up. It's not that big of a movement, and you should feel a nice stretch across the upper back. Keep the lunge in the front leg. If you feel wobbly, widen the stance of the feet. Then bring the forearms back down so that the elbows are in line with the shoulders. Straighten the front leg. So you kind of squeeze everything in toward the midline. Toes are going to go to the left. Keep the eagle arms. So straight legs. You're facing the side of the mat. Bring the heels in, toes out, wide-legged squat. Keep the eagle arms. Then release the eagle arms. Bring the arms out wide. Stand tall. Left foot angles in, right foot angles out. Warrior two facing the top of the mat. Right forearm, right thigh. Reach the left arm up and over the ear. Extended side angle pose. Reverse warrior. Hands come down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Vinyasa, back to downward facing dog. You'll bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward, up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Come up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. On the exhale, cactus the arms. Find that lift in the chest, nice strong legs, long lower back. Then look forward, forearms together, this time left arm on top of the right, eagle arms. Get it set up first with elbows and shoulders in line. Feel that pull across the upper back. As you lower the shoulders, keep them there. Start to lift the forearms up. Elbows back in line with the shoulders. Release the arms down by the sides. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back. Make sure the feet are wide enough, so at least hip width distance. Rise up, crescent pose. Go slow. Spend some time here, getting your foundation, your base ready, so that when your balance becomes a little bit of a challenge, you're set up with strength. This time, left arm on top of the right arm, eagle arms. Once you have that set up, you can start to play with lifting the forearms up. Keep the lunge in the front leg. Then start to bring the elbows back down in line with the shoulders. Straighten the front leg, go nice and slow, feeling that stability. Turn the toes over to the right. So heels and toes are in line, but nice wide stance. And then heels in, toes out, wide-legged squat. Keep the eagle arms if you can. And then the chest wants to go down toward the mat, but hopefully the eagle arms are helping you keep the chest lifted and a nice long tailbone, so it's not sticking back behind you. Bring the arms out wide like a T. Stand tall, angle on the right toes, turn the left toes all the way out. Warrior two, face the top of the mat. Left forearm, left thigh, right arm up and over the ear, Parsvakonasana. So that left knee is going straight forward, but the chest is trying to open up toward the sky. And you should get some length from the left hip to the left underarm. Reverse warrior, take your time. And windmill the hands down to the mat. Optional vinyasa takes you back to downward facing dog. Few breaths in downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Come all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Close the eyes for a moment, stand tall here, keep the hands together. Come back to your breath. Keep this long line. Blink open the eyes, release the arms down by the sides, all the way up on the inhale, cactus the arms. Then eagle arms, right arm on top of the left arm. Lift those forearms up, keep the legs strong, a little different this time. Bring the elbows back in line with the shoulders so you're looking forward, come into chair pose. Start to shift the weight over to the right foot. Left leg presses high up over the right leg, just like you did before on your back. You don't have to hook the foot. If you can, great. But if you're not, that left foot can be a kickstand on the ground, or it can be up away from the ground. Just spread those toes and keep that foot flexed. See if you can sit a little deeper. Hug the left knee in toward the chest. Keep those eagle arms. Warrior three. Push that left leg way back. Keep sending the forearms forward. Breathe wherever you are. Bend that standing leg. Step back to crescent. Reach the forearms up. Breathe. When you feel ready, straighten the front leg. Come up to standing with your eagle arms. Turn the right toes in so that you face the side of the mat. Heels in, toes out. Goddess. Release those arms down by the sides. Take a big circle. Hands come together at the very top. Down in front of the heart. Straighten the legs. Warrior two facing the top of the mat. Take your time. Feel all that space. Right forearm, right thigh, reach the left arm up and over. You're welcome to take this deeper if you want to and bring the hand down to the mat or a block. Inhale back, reverse warrior. Bring the hands down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Work your way through a vinyasa if you want one. Back to down dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. All the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Close the eyes. Gather your focus for the other side. You know what's coming. Blink open the eyes. Release the arms all the way up to the top. Cactus the arms. Find that little back bend. Left arm on top of the right. Eagle arms. Lift the forearms up toward the sky. Bring the elbows back in line with the shoulders, looking forward. Bend the knees, come into chair pose. Shifting to the left foot. Reach the right leg up, cross it high over the left leg. Find your hook, spread toes, or maybe your kickstand. Squeeze everything in toward the midline. Sit a little lower. Hug that right knee in toward the chest. Warrior three. Take your time. Stay with this focus and concentration as you stretch the right leg back and you reach the forearms forward even here. Start to bend the standing leg, landing in crescent. Reach back with the ball of the right foot over to the right as you rise up, bringing the forearms up. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Straighten the front leg to stand tall. Turn the toes over to the right. Heels in, toes out. Wide-legged squat. Release the arms down by the sides. Let them be heavy for a moment. Then inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Straighten the legs, stand tall. Angle in the right toes. Turn the left toes all the way out. Warrior two, face the top of the mat. Extended side angle pose. Forearm to thigh or hand down on the mat or on a block. Reach the right arm up and over. Inhale back, reverse warrior. Hands come down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Vinyasa is there as an option. Few breaths in your downward facing dog. So what's nice is your shoulders are pretty open, and sometimes it's hard to find, and they're warm. Sometimes it's kind of hard to feel your shoulders in downward facing dog. You should be able to spread them a little bit wider given all those Garudasana arms that we've been doing. So press down into the index finger, thumb side of the hand. You squeeze the arms like they're coming together, and then you widen across the shoulder blade. So think about like spreading wings across your back. Belly hugs in, hips go up and back, heels go down toward the mat. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Come up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Take a pause here. Close the eyes, go inside. Here we go. Blink open the eyes, reach the arms all the way up. Cactus the arms. Eagle arms, right arm over the left arm. Reach the forearms up. Elbows back down in front of the shoulders. Start to bend the knees. Shift the weight over to the right foot. Cross the left leg high up over the right. Garudasana Eagle. Keep that right leg so strong as you bring the left knee in toward the chest, making your way to warrior three with eagle arms. Take your time. Stretch that left heel back, reach the forearms forward. Try not to open up the left hip. Then bend the standing leg, reach back even more with the left foot. Rise up to crescent pose. You can take a pause with the elbows in line with the shoulders or go all the way up. If you're all the way up, bring the elbows in line with the shoulders to keep your balance so you can look forward. Straighten the front legs, stand tall, squeezing those outer hips in. Turn the toes over to the left. Heels in, toes out. Goddess. Bring the arms down by the sides. Let them be heavy. Keep the knees opening up in the same direction as the toes. Then inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Press yourself up to standing. Angle in the left toes. Turn the right toes all the way out. Warrior two. We'll add triangle this time. Straighten the front leg. You can heel toe the back foot in a little bit if you want to. Come into your version of triangle. Right arm down, left arm up. And be as light as you can in the right hand, whether or not you're using a block, the shin, or the mat. Spread the arms out wide. Come back to warrior two. Right forearm, right thigh, left arm up and over, unless you're taking a deeper version. Then inhale back, reverse warrior. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Downward facing dog in your own time. Play with the space across the shoulders. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. All the way up. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Close the eyes. Take a beat. Then blink open the eyes. Arms down by the sides. Reach the arms all the way up. Cactus the arms. Left arm on top of the right. Eagle arms. Lift the forearms up. Strong legs. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Look forward. Bend the knees. Chair. Shift the weight over to the left foot. Right leg high up over the left. Warrior 3, take your time. Hug that right knee up toward the chest. Push that right foot away from you as you reach the forearms forward. Bend the standing leg. Reach back with that right foot over to the right. Take crescent. Maybe you reach the forearms up. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Straighten the front leg. Turn the toes over to the right. Heels in, toes out. Keep the feet in line. So if one foot feels behind the other, adjust that. Squat the legs. Keep the eagle arms. Release the arms down by the sides. Keep that squat. Then inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Rise up to standing. Right toes angle in, left toes angle out. Warrior 2 facing the top of the mat. Shoulders down the back. Straighten the front leg. Maybe heel toe the back foot in. Reach forward, pulling those hips back. Left arm down, right arm up. Back up to warrior 2. If you shorten the stance, make it a little longer. Extended side angle, maybe left forearm to thighs. You reach the right arm over. Reverse warrior. Hands come down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Lower yourself halfway if you're taking the vinyasa. Up dog. Back to down dog. Take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale and sigh it out the mouth. Come back to your normal Ujjayi breath. Then start to walk the hands back toward the feet at the back of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Close the eyes. Then blink open the eyes, arms come down by the sides. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Cactus the arms. Right arm over the left arm. Eagle arms. Then reach the forearms up. Elbows back in line with the shoulders. Come into chair pose so you bend the knees. Shift the weight over to the right. Lift the left leg, cross it high up over the right leg. So back into your eagle legs. And then bring the hands together like prayer. You'll start to lean forward, keep squeezing those legs together. You're coming into a twist. Right elbow's gonna hook just on that top thigh. And you can stay looking down at the mat if you'd like. That'll help with stability. If you're feeling pretty good, start to play with your balance and look toward the left. If you change the gaze, look back down toward the mat. Bring the hands back to center. Reach the arms up. Step the left foot next to the right foot. And press down into the legs. Reach up through the arms. Maybe you look up. Cactus the arms. Straight over to the other side. Left arm on top of the right arm. Eagle arms. Keep those legs straight. Should feel pretty good. Reach the forearms up. Elbows back in line with the shoulders. Just the other side. This is it. Bend the knees like you're in chair pose. Shift the weight over to the left foot. Come into eagle. Prayer hands. Take your time. Start to lean forward until you can hook that left elbow on the top thigh. Maybe you keep the gaze down on the mat and you squeeze everything together, or maybe you start to look over to the right. Gaze comes back down to the mat if you changed it. Hands back to center in prayer. Reach the arms up, lifting the chest away from the thighs. Come back up to standing. Right foot next to the left foot. Keep the feet hip width distance apart. Press down into the legs. Reach up into the arms. Look up. Hands come together. Fold all the way down over the legs. Forward fold. Hands can stay down on the mat. You can clasp opposite elbows. You could interlace the fingers behind the back. Let the heels get a little lighter as you shift the weight forward. Hands come back down to the mat. Inhale up halfway. Walk the hands forward, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back. Step the right foot forward outside of the right hand. So you're coming into a wide lizard lunge. Reach the heart forward to get this set up. And you can keep that back knee lifted, or you can set it down on the mat. Setting it down on the mat would be still a hip stretch and would take less energy. But if you feel like you have a little bit more gas in the tank that you need to get rid of, then keep the back knee up. But we are going to work our way down to a cool down. Hands can stay underneath the shoulders, but you can also come down onto the forearms. And if you have a block, that's always a good middle option. But we want to try to take the rounding out of the upper back. And as the hips start to release, we start to become a little bit more relaxed. And we start to bring the chest down to the mat, even though we want to reach it forward. So keep looking forward so the chest keeps reaching forward. And then you'll come back up onto the hands. Let's come into a wide half split. So walk the hands back. This front leg will be straight. You're still reaching the heart forward. Then come back into that wide lunge, hands down underneath the shoulders, sole the right foot down, tuck those back toes, lift the back leg, look forward, reaching the heart forward, three-legged down dog, reach that right leg up and back. Set the right foot down onto the mat, left leg goes up and back. Left foot steps forward outside of the left hand, wide lizard lunge on this side. Reach the heart forward, get nice and long, and then decide, doing whatever you did on the first side, when to bring the knee down, untuck the toes. If you stay on the hands, or if you work your way down onto the forearms. One hand at a time, come back up. Wide half split. So start to walk the hands back, straighten that front leg. Hips are still side by side, even though this feels a little weird with the left foot outside of the left hand. Keep reaching the chest forward. Wide lizard lunge, set that left foot back down, walk the hands forward, tuck the back toes, reach the chest forward, stretch that right heel back. Left leg goes up and back, three-legged down dog. Set the left foot down onto the mat. Bring the knees down to the mat. Scoot the feet over to the left, sit back onto the mat and bring yourself forward. We're coming back into bridge pose. If you have a block and you want to take a restorative bridge, you can always put that underneath the hips. You'll grab that before you lie down. Feet hip width distance apart, arms down by the sides, hug the belly in and start to shift the tailbone up between the knees. Keep that going as you press into the legs to lift the hips up. Shoulders underneath you, arms can stay where they are. You can do robot arms. You can interlace the fingers underneath you. But getting length in the thigh bones, moving those away from you as you find that length across the chest and upper body. Dig into those heels. And slowly release. Bring the hips back down to the mat. One more back bend of your choice. Stick with bridge or maybe play with urdhva, especially if the shoulders are an area of the body that make that pose a little bit harder. Your shoulders are very open compared to when we first started class. Press into the feet, lift the hips up like you're coming into bridge. Stay in bridge with whatever arm variation you choose, or bring the hands back by the ears. Turning the index fingers out helps a little bit. It gives you a little bit more space. Then come onto the top of the head. Fire up the legs so they're already in bridge, and the whole body as you press into the arms and the legs at the same time to lift up. And then you find the control of the shoulders. They're away from the ears, they're wide. Tailbone still up between the knees, wherever you are. One more inhale. Exhale brings you all the way back down. Bring the knees together, the feet wide, arms out by the sides. Close eyes. Left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Feel that heartbeat. And all that energy going through the body that you created. Then blink open the eyes. Heel toe the feet back to hip width distance. Cross the right leg high up over the left leg. Scoot the hips over to the right. You can bring the arms out in a T shape or a cactus, and the knees will fall over to the left. If this is bothering your lower back, just uncross the legs. Stacking the knees. And if you want to add the neck, you can look over the right arm. Gaze comes back up. Slowly make your way back to center. Feet down on the mat. switch sides, cross the left leg high up over the right, scoot the hips over to the left, the knees to the right. Gaze can fall over the left arm. Eyes can be closed. Look up. Come back onto your backs, coming back to center. Uncross the legs. Take a happy baby. Reach through the insides of the legs. Grab the outer edges of the feet. Keep the hips down. Maybe rock side to side to keep it playful. Then bring the knees in toward the chest. Grab onto the backs of the thighs and extend the legs straight up. So you can flex the feet, you can point them, but do either one so that you keep the legs a little bit more active here. You can hang on to just softly resting the hands either down by the sides. If you want to hang on to the legs, you can. We're just going to reverse the blood flow before we come into our final rest. Bring the knees back into the chest. Shavasana or a seated meditation. Shavasana, extend the legs out in front of you. Seated meditation, roll over to one side and make your way up to your easy cross-legged seat. Keeping the eyes closed wherever you decide to go and dropping in. Slowly start to deepen the breath. Reach the arms overhead, finding a stretch on your mat, waking up, and making your way onto your right side. Keep that momentum going as you use the hands to bring yourself up to an easy cross-legged seat. Sitting up tall with the eyes closed, bring the hands together, staying in this moment for a little longer. Bow the head to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks for sharing your practice with me and everyone else today.